In an embarrassing performance, Manchester United was defeated by Brentford by a score of 4-0, which caused them to fall to the bottom of the Premier League table. At the G-Tech Community Stadium on Saturday, Erik ten Hag and Manchester United were defeated by Brentford by a score of 4-0. The match started off poorly for both teams right from the first kick. The errors made by David De Gea were on plain display as before 30 minutes Josh Da Silva had scored. Before the first half was over, Matthias Jensen, Ben Mee and Brian Mbeumo all placed the ball in the back of the net, with Mbeumo putting the game even farther out of reach. Luke Shaw, Fred and the newest member of Ten Hag's roster, Lisandro Martinez, all got hooked in response to the threefold alteration that Ten Hag made. They may be replaced by Scott McTominay, Raphael Varane and Tyrell Malacia, but the end result would not be affected in any way. The fans of Brentford were particularly delighted with their former players' troubles at United, as their bees dominated the competition and they could be heard yelling, "What is the score?" throughout the stadium. Although United's current problem, in which they are positioned at the bottom of the table, may be somewhat attributed to recruitment and the players, the majority of the direct responsibility for Saturday's embarrassment has to be placed on Ten Hag. Thomas Frank, the manager of Brentford, was aware that Manchester United wanted to play out of the back, but despite De Gea missing one save and Ten Hag creating another goal for the opposite team with a poor pass to Eriksen, Hag continued to stick to his plan even if it was not successful. Brentford were all over things from the first kick, just like United were during their opening week loss to Brighton, and they generated mayhem with a planned press that made things chaotic. Ten Hag is receiving quite an introduction to the more physical life of the Premier League. While playing Eriksen as a defensive midfielder may be something that might work with Ajax, Ten Hag is getting quite an introduction to the Premier League. Even though Manchester United controlled the majority of possession during the match, they were unable to score a goal because Brentford's defense held strong. Both teams had a comparable number of shots, with United taking 15 and Brentford taking 13, although 8 of United's attempts were speculative efforts from beyond the box. Brentford had a slightly higher percentage of shots on goal than United did. This is in contrast to how Brentford, who ensured that they had decent chances by pushing the ball into the box via counterattacks and set plays. The Bees were quite clinical, as seen by the fact that they scored with 4 of their 7 shots on target, punishing Manchester United for their errors. Ivan Toney did an outstanding job of directing the play, which resulted in the creation of 4 opportunities and 2 assists for Brentford goals. He used his vision and creativity to keep the ball moving for Brentford, which allowed other players to assault the box while he acted as a focal point. He was the most creative player on the field. Toney's ability to contribute to Brentford's success in multiple ways, including by scoring a pair of goals and providing assists on other players' tallies, is a key reason for his team's reliance on him. The presence of Ronaldo at the top of United's defensive line is divisive. Even though they do not have a better alternative to lead the assault, Ronaldo's body language makes an already frail team even more susceptible to collapse. Ronaldo is the focus of tonight's match, not Manchester United or any other team. Even though he has every reason to be disheartened by the team's lack of ambition, he shouldn't try to improve upon his total of 18 goals scored during the previous season by playing in such a way. After announcing that he intends to leave the squad, yelling at other players and making it evident that he is unhappy despite the fact that he is aware that the camera is always following him, simply adds unnecessary pressure. If Ronaldo is only going to cooperate with the team when he is getting good service and the ball is flying into the box like it was in the second half, then he needs to find a new team before the transfer market closes. New management brings along growing pains, and everyone in the organization from Ronaldo on down needs to be on board with them, or Ten Hag's job will only become more difficult. In the event that doesn't occur, United might use the downtime during the World Cup to look for a new manager. As Liverpool makes its way into what promises to be an anxious Old Trafford, things could still get worse for Manchester United before they start to get better. At the end of the first half of Manchester United's home opener against Brighton, the crowd booed them off the field, and if they go behind against a fierce rival like Liverpool, they might experience the same reaction again. It is alarming, since this team doesn't appear to be anywhere near good enough to compete with the Reds, but Ten Hag would be off to a terrible start at Manchester United if they were to lose their first 3 games before playing away from home again. He has already made history by becoming the first manager to lose his first 2 matches since John Chapman in 1921.